Yeah, you can start. Huub?
Yeah, do we start? Maybe just by introducing ourselves.
Yes.
We both work at the Dutch agency for... Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna just.
We're not
stay
allowed
for
to be
a
close
big
together.
distance, so,
Okay.
Yeah.
We both work at the Dutch Agency for the Digital Infrastructure. So we're supervisors, competent authorities, supervising the telecom, cybersecurity, but also AI. And we're both... Oh, you're looking quite difficult.
Yeah, look, they used the wrong one. My description is wrong again.
Okay.
Because you see, like, we actually work for the same. This is the correct one. Ignore that, please. Also, I'm not a project lead. As maybe some of you know, I'm the head of the AI Safety and Security Lab. And I do the AI sandboxes. And I'm also working together with UNESCO on our TSI. So this is also wrong. The name is correct, by the way. The name is correct, yeah.
Yeah, my description is correct. So I'm responsible
it's
for
not.
AI.
Your name is also wrong because it says on digital infrastructure, where it is for digital infrastructure.
Okay. Anyway, what you see is that we try. Thank you very much for being here. That means that you're interested in the topic, that you're willing to work, because it's a workshop, so you're going to work. We're going to put you to work. Especially thank you, because if we look at the title of this workshop, we wouldn't have joined by ourselves.
Yeah,
because it's quite vague in a way. And that's actually because somebody else was going to do this and asked us to join in, and then they couldn't come anymore, and then, anyway, we changed it back. So the idea now is, what are we going to do? It's about focusing on innovation and regulation, or the AI Act. Can you innovate, and how can you innovate without having too much trouble, being too much troubled by the AI Act? So we're going to introduce you on the debates that will happen when people are starting to innovate, starting to use generative AI, and they're going to be checked by competent authority. And what kind of questions do you get?
You're going too fast.
Okay.
You're split up in tables. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tables. Everybody check how many people are at each of the table. I only see 4 there. I only see 4 here. And this is 5 and another 5 there. If that table could be split over those 3, that would fit a little bit better. Yeah? For each of the table.
Step 1 of the workshop.
Yes, we're going to do the workshop thing. Yeah, you can say hello. Then let's introduce each other on the table so they know who you're talking to. You can join that table.
Thank you.
It's going to be a networking event, right? Do a double. Yeah. You have now 6 people, right? And there's 7 there, and there's now 1 person. Can you join that one? Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
So in the state, in that whole chain of regulation, you have a certain actors, and some of them are even in this room. Yes? We have the supervisors. We introduce ourselves. We have a certain role. We will explain later a little bit what it exactly means. You have notified bodies. They're also present. Of course, we have the innovators. And then we have the civilians. So within your table, could you please discuss with each other, without taking your original role, who will take which role? So within your table, discuss. I'm going to do it again. Somebody's going to be the supervisor. Doesn't matter. You don't need any information.
Well,
you want to be
can
a supervisor?
have two people as a supervisor.
Two people need to be supervisor.
2 people need to be notified bodies.
Wait. We're going to do the supervisor first. We're going to get all the supervisors.
Yeah, but then they can discuss.
1 person running away. I see that. I can understand. Who is on the first table? The 2 supervisors? Yes. You should go sit next to each other. Which one are the 2 supervisors here? That's 1, 2. Okay, 2 supervisors there. Or here. 2 supervisors?
Yeah.
Yes, 2 super. Oh, no, only 2. No. You know too much. Yes. And here I already have the 2 ladies. Want to be the supervisors? Yes. Okay. Are you already claiming the innovator side? But are you originally innovators? Okay, that's good. Okay. Well, okay, thank you. We're going to do the innovators next. We have 2 innovators. I think in that table we have a little problem with too many innovators there, but one innovator in this room, that table. You're the innovator. Microsoft's innovating. 2 innovators here. 1. Yeah, you're allowed. Yes, those are your 2. And the 2 innovators in this table.
Okay.
Yeah, the 2 there. Oh, okay, you fight it out. You fight it out. Okay, then we skipped the notified bodies. So we're going to do notified bodies. Sounds very cool. Who wants to be the notified bodies? We're going to do the same thing. We have. You want to be a notified body? Yeah? Exactly. Perfect.
Yeah.
You're going to be 2. You're going to be the. So sit next to each other. I think in that would maybe better to get 1 notified body. You have to not enough. Oh, if you join, please join this table. Can you join this table? You're one of the notified bodies, together with. Who else? You're going to be the notified. You're already. So you're going to be the other notified body. So you're already sitting next to each other. Sorry? We're going to explain it all what it means. Don't worry about that. Here.
Yeah, can you join one of the tables?
Dick 2. And the notified body there. I think those. Yeah.
Yeah. You can see the notified bodies.
Okay, so I think everybody.
Natural role. Yeah, very good.
Who still does not have a role? 1 here. You don't have a role, I think, right?
Yeah.
Just say your picture. Yes, you don't have a role yet. The people, you are civilians.
Or consumers.
Consumers. You might know this role. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we're gonna have some people on stage, right?
Yeah, you won't.
Yeah, we're gonna take some of them. We're gonna take a notified body of this one to explain how it all works. Which one is notified body?
Yeah.
One of you two. One of you to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, just one. Otherwise, going to be so busy on the stage. We had the supervisors here, right? One of you two who wants to come on stage. Yeah?
Maakt niet uit, voor mij is het.
Innovators. You wanted to be the innovator, right? Yes. You're very active on this. And we got the civilian here. Does Dick too want to be the civilian? The consumer, sorry. You're the consumer. Can you come on stage? We need some extra chairs, but can you get a chair?
Yeah, here.
Oh, we have the 4 now. Yes.
Right, what are they going to do?
Well, I did all the preparation. Now you do the rest, right?
Okay.
Yes, so it starts with an innovator. Innovators have ideas. And ideas lead to products. Yeah, sorry.
Or services.
Can you turn it on?
Yes.
Hear me?
Yeah, another one, so to move it around when you're saying something.
I was a consumer.
You're not yet, you don't need to, you just have the mic. What we have, you have an idea.
Yes.
You have a product.
Yes.
It has AI, because we're here, right?
Of course.
Can you think of a product which has AI?
A product with?
AI in it, artificial intelligence?
Of course.
Yeah, can you come up now, currently, of a product?
We are going to give information about you so that you can join the company of your dreams.
So a recommender for companies of...
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful, right?
And we're going to look through your previous employment history and academic results, etc. So we are going to match your skills
Yeah.
to your next employer.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Very interesting. That could be the one thing that people get out of this whole is the new idea. Of it.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next step?
Okay, so you have the idea. We have the AI Act.
There's a product or a service.
And-
Let's say it's an app. Can we make it an app?
Of course, it
Yeah, it's
must
an
be
app,
an
right?
app.
Yeah. Okay, and then you go to a notified body. Notified body.
Oh, could you maybe switch? Yeah, position, yeah.
Yeah. What will you think about her product?
What does a notified body do exactly?
Ah, very good, very good.
Thank you.
No problem.
A notified body is, checks whether or not a product is compliant and give a certification. Especially the AI Act is product regulation, which means that before you can put it on the market or use it, it needs to be approved. So you need it to be, it needs to be assessed, either third-party conformity assessment by a notified body, or you can do a self-assessment depending on the kind of AI it is, high-risk AI it is. And after it's been assessed, you can get a CE marking, and then you can put it on the market or you can use it.
Yeah.
So in that process, there's a role for the notified body to see whether or not it's compliant with the AI Act.
And just to check what you just said is correct, Miss Notified Bodies, which are in the room, is this is this a proper explanation of your job? Yes.
Okay.
So, yes? Yes, always. This is a workshop.
A burning question for me for a while. There are quite a few of these general purpose applications.
General purpose. Oh, we're going to go into the... Yeah?
That can be used for data or not. So is it high risk or not? Is that something I asked the notified body?
That's a very interesting question. You have extreme expertise in this table, but you might need to influence your innovator to come up with a general purpose product, because then you can discuss this. Yeah? Okay, so what you heard what the notified body does, what do you think that actually implies currently when you hear about this product?
Well, I think my role right now would be to perform an audit or an assessment on the app, the idea, and whether it would like qualify to get the CE marking and go on market.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. And then, I won't go into the...
Well, the first question is...
No, I think just to clarify the goal, the roles, I think it's just continue with the next role.
Okay.
Before going into the content, what really needs to be done. Thank you. So, what does the supervisor then do?
I supervise.
Yes?
So I
You're hired.
take into account the regulations and what the companies are doing, and basically inspect whether everything is going as intended.
What is everything in this sentence?
Well, the practices according to the EU Act. So maybe I'll take a look at data security or things like that.
But who do you talk to?
For who I do that?
No, who do you talk to in this
Oh, as
panel?
a supervisor.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not very clear on what this distinction actually is. It seems that I more have a continuous role.
Yes.
But I think as a supervisor, I supervise the market as well. So I also talk to the relevant companies, so the app developers. No?
No, it's very good. It's very good the way you're trying to come up to an answer. That really helps, because then people start understanding, why are you doing this? So the first thing you said is, I presume I have a continuous role where
like that,
notified body has a one-time role. They check before, and maybe again after big changes or after a while, you might need to do a reassessment, but it's true, you have a permanent role. But you don't have to do what the notified body already did. So you have more a system responsibility. You're not going, as a competent authority, you're not going to check all the 100,000 apps that are being put on the market where AI is in it.
You're checking whether the checking went well.
Okay.
Or whether the system works.
Yeah.
Of course, you need to check whether something goes wrong in the market, and then you do need to act on that. You have the mandate also to act on that, because you can remove products from the market. The notified body cannot. The notified body only does the checking and gives you a marking, and that's it. But we can check whether you did a great job or not.
So let's say that there are a lot of data security practices, and this app is now so big that half of the Netherlands is half of Europe.
Very nice. You did a risk-based approach. That's very nice. Yes.
So would I then directly target the company as well and say to the company, hey, you're having these issues and you're so big, or do I only talk about the system? Well,
I would
how
say
does
yes.
distinction work?
You want to have that conversation. You want to
Yeah.
start that conversation. Of course, if you think something went wrong, you also need to talk to the notified body. Why did it go through this assessment, but actually we don't think it is actually done properly?
Yeah.
So that is your role in the end.
Okay.
So I think after this we will go into like this specific product, but I think I still want to ask, you're just a consumer. What do you have a role in this whole picture?
Well, if it's a good app, I would like to use it if it's safe, secure, and all those, and my privacy is not exposed too much.
So what if it is not? What will you do?
Depends how much I need the app. Well, my privacy is in this new world lost already a little bit, but it depends a little bit. Yeah,
You might complain, right?
I might think about it to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But can you assess whether or not it complies with all the requirements that you have? Or do you
The
trust?
functional requirements, you mean, or the non-functional requirements?
I do hear the ICT implementer a little bit here. But I think what Huub is trying to ask, that as a normal consumer, you do not know the full laws that apply to products.
No.
You need to trust it. And
Yeah, I think in the future it will be very difficult. It might be a good idea if you could get some kind of, how do you say that in English? Some kind of proof that it's safe or something like that. Yeah.
That's what they call the CE marking. So you sat down on this chair, presuming it's safe, because all these chairs need to have a CE marking before they are being sold in the market.
Huub means literally the chairs. So the chairs
The
are
physical
products,
chairs.
the
Everybody
physical
sits
chairs.
down without thinking about it. Is it safe to sit on it?
You're not going to check it because it has a marking on it. It's going to be safe. That is the goal of the marking.
That goes with the app as well. So you will presume in time that at least for the minimum requirements, it's compliant with legislation. Still, you can say I have additional requirements, and you might check, I want it to be more safe, more privacy friendly or whatever, but the basic level requirements, you will presume that they're in place. And you base that trust on the notified body and the competent authorities that need to check whether or not the innovator in
you
this
trust
case-
the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think not only the government authorities, but also it's a mobile app, I suppose. Before Apple and Google are taking it into the app stores, I would like them, as big tech companies, also to check somehow if they think it's more or less safe. I think that would be a good idea.
But you don't misunderstand that they are also,
Both.
of course, the big, the supplier of all the apps.
Yeah, they have a double
is
role.
also supervised. They are also in the supervision domain.
Yeah.
I think I want to then make a step further now into that, now that you know a little bit what this role means, but into this specific app, because you came up with a great app, and you went to the notified body with this app somehow. You know it, you know. But in this case, the question is, does it actually need to go to a notified body? Yeah.
Well, if my app is profiling or screening candidates to get access to employment,
To access, yeah.
then yes, because it's considered high risk.
But it doesn't apply yet, so currently, but according to
True,
the upcoming
true.
AI...
Until now,
yeah.
well, yeah.
Yeah, somebody has some background knowledge here, it seems.
Yeah. So implicitly, I'm trying to make it explicit what you just did.
Yeah.
'Cause that's really. First thing is say, okay, I have a product that I'm going to put on the market. So it's under product regulation. There is an AI in it, then it's under the AI Act. Then you said the intended purpose. You explained the intended purpose, because that's always step 3, the intended purpose. And then if you know the intended purpose, you can see whether or not it's part of the forbidden AI, it's high risk, there are transparency requirements, or it's without any regulation. If you would have a different intended purpose, then maybe there weren't any supervisors or notified bodies necessary. In this case, it's high risk AI based on Annex 3.
But that's the question. You made a simplification. There's 2 versions of high risk.
Yeah. No,
You have the high risk, which you do not need an external party, so you don't need a notified body to do the certification. You can do it yourself.
Yeah. So in this case, it's Annex 3, which doesn't require third-party conformity assessment. So in this case, you wouldn't need a notified body.
I can skip.
You can
You can
skip.
skip, but you need, but you still have to do what the notified body does, but you can do it yourself. It might save cost. It might be more expensive if you have no idea how to do it.
Yeah. So you might still need to ask him for help, right?
What did she say?
If we're not involved, don't ask us. But I do think there's maybe a last question. So the notified body doesn't have a role maybe, but does the supervisor still have a role?
Yes, because I supervise the entire, system, and this company plays a role in that system.
Yes, that's correct. So you could still ask this company, show me your self-assessment.
Yes.
And then if you have some signals from market that something might be wrong, you can also say, I think we need to have a discussion about this. And at worst case, if you don't want to do anything and you're a malicious party in a way, then we can say, or you can say, then we go to the more, what do you call I was looking for a nice word.
Enforcement?
Enforcement.
Yeah. So do I have any authority, or am I just supervising and?
So the name is, as you saw, the Dutch authority. It's kind of in the name.
Okay.
You do.
There's a question over there. Maybe we can.
I thought there would be no
microphone.
questions from, but okay. Yeah.
Just to make sure I understood well your understanding. So if notified body involvement is not needed, for example, in this case, can you still involve the notified body on a voluntary basis if you are not capable of doing such self-review? Because, well, depends on your understanding. I had another understanding, but it would be nice to see what's your view.
We have a few, and this is also one of the topics that we put out as an official question from ours, because we think there's a big market for this.
Exactly.
Especially in governments, that they might actually ask for a notified body to be in there, or at least a third party to do the assessment. But it's not by law.
Okay.
But it's I can't give you a 100% certain answer at this point. It's an open question for us as well.
Okay.
But then wouldn't you end up in a conflict if you do the assessment that you are not obliged to do, but do it maybe against some money as a consulting service
to the help with that, which is totally okay. But not us, of course. We don't do anything of this. But this notified bodies are for-profit organizations.
Okay.
Yeah, but in generally it is a for-profit organization. They do this not for nothing, this job. And that's why there's a market of notified bodies. This is an open market of these.
Okay, I thought this was like state.
No. So it's a business case.
Yeah, but the supervisor does appoint whether they are qualified or well equipped to do a certain thing. So we appoint them. That's why we are the notifying authority to notify the notified bodies. It's like wording is a rule. But there is a system for that, but that can also change. Like I say, like you do a bad job, so you can remove that again, and then other parts can fill it in. But it's a market. Other question?
Yeah, I have a slightly different scenario. So say if the innovator was on the first seat and they're selling to companies, and it's unclear if they don't have CE markings right now.
Okay.
But it's also unclear whether it's high risk or not, and would want them to have some kind of certification. What does the company who the innovator is selling to do?
So I think that two questions. One is, if you are the consumer, but he can be a business as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so business to business or business to consumer doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's a product you put on the market regardless of to whom you sell it.
Yeah. Could also be to government.
So, but then if that business wants to use it, ideally it would be better to have the CE marking, but while it's not there, could...
Well, the notified bodies is of course a limited resource. You cannot do everything, doesn't need to be tested at the same level. It is based on certain risk. It is, of course includes a certain cost.
Yeah.
Also takes a little speed away, of course, on a certain, so you don't want every product to have the same level of checking. So that's why.
So normally, if you don't need a third-party conformity assessment, you don't want to do it because it costs a lot of money.
Because I saw a question here. And after that, we're going to role play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have just a question. Oops. I have just a question. You mentioned a few roles or areas of the notified body and the supervisor. But maybe I missed it, but you missed, I think, something essential. That's about the data, the system that contains the data. We have a lot of regulations there.
Yeah,
like
I don't care.
GDPR, etc.
I totally don't care.
You should.
Because as the one I'm going to
Because
supervise...
in your AI impact analysis...
Yeah, but it's product safety regulation, so it's completely different than GDPR or whatever. It's product. So I'm only looking at the person, the legal person who puts it on the market. So it's either the provider or the deployer. There are different roles. Yeah. Somebody puts it in the market, or if it's a government, they're going to use it. Those are the people I'm going to address, and I say, did you check whether or not your product or your service or government service, is it under the AI Act? Did you do, what's the intended use? Did you check whether or not it's, for example, high risk? And if it's high risk, I want to see a CE marking, or else you're doing an illegal job, and we're going to have a talk.
So
and then after that, you're going to check, okay, so I presume you want a CE marking. Then you need to comply with a number of requirements from the AI Act.
Yeah.
And then it says you need to do, where is the data coming from? Is it safe? Is it stored? Did you do your human rights impact assessment? Is your cybersecurity available? Transparency, all the demands come after that. But as a competent authority, the first thing I'm going to do is, do you have a product with an AI? Did you do your assessment? And if necessary, do you have CE marking?
I understand. I don't say that I agree, but I understand your...
That's the way it works.
That's the system, but I think also you should understand there's other laws and regulations as well that are currently not in scope.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're still responsible as an innovator. But yeah.
Okay. One. It's really the last one. Otherwise, we're never going to get to the next part. And yeah, keep away from each other.
From this side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Vinay here. I have two questions to start with. One, mostly the edge case scenarios, right? Because you were very keen in mentioning in selling a product. What happens if it's a free product still using AI to deliver services? Is it also covered under the regulation?
Free product. It's a double meaning. Product generally does imply something. But
yeah, it's a tricky situation.
Yeah.
So just open source is available for everybody, and there's nobody really responsible. So you can't really comply to the legislation, but at the same time, you're not really putting it on the market in a way. Yep. So as soon as somebody takes an open source and use it in their services, then at that moment it will get into the scope of the AI
maybe
Act.
One distinction that's very clear as well, that even if it is a product also means something in production in your organization.
Right.
By product we also think only about things that you buy, but if you build it and put it in your own organization in production, that's also a product. Otherwise, people can find all these loopholes. I didn't make a product. I only built something at the other organization.
Okay, understand. Thank you.
Yeah.
And also, thanks for explaining the roles. This is a very best case scenario, right? Say, what happens if the innovator is...
Well, thank you. We're going to join to the next step because thank you again, people from the stage.
You can sit.
You can go back to your groups. And of course, we're going to do exactly the same thing. I see some people running away. But you're going to do the same thing. You're going to start with the innovator. They will come up with an idea, a different one. And you do the same role, and see whether you come to the same conclusion or whether you get stuck in that sense. So everybody on the table start innovating and do the same role play as just now. And we will be here if you have
discussing
questions.
within each table, and we'll walk around for every question that you have. So you'll get a feeling about it. If you want to join, please feel free to just join that table.
You want to join here? You're also going to be innovator? Right. You have a fellow innovator. We were the innovator. Yes, that's a good statement. No, you only have 6 people. Then.
They have some lines of thinking, like, okay, this could be a terrorist, watch this, but they also randomly select people. We want to help them with that, and basically learn from which people you offer.
I don't see innovation happening here. Who is the innovator? Okay. Do you have ideas for products? Otherwise, I can hint with certain products.
Exactly. So that's the whole it sounds like. Yeah. Exactly. Tricky. It's borderline. Tricky.
Okay, I think we had enough time to innovate. So I'm just going to start with this table. These are the innovators I remember. Can you tell your new product?
Meindert, you want a time out from everybody?
Yeah, I'm going to join, ask them all. Yeah, 1 second. The rest is going to stop innovating. Can we... This table needs to, come on, block them. Block those people, cut them off.
Yeah, okay. We do a small timeout.
Small timeout.
A small timeout.
Yeah, we're going to ask your innovator, what is the product?
Check what they're doing, so we can share sometimes in between what happens between. What was the question, Meindert?
What is the innovation that you have?
Okay.
So we have...
okay.
People?
Small timeout.
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Is support.
A little bit closer.
Support for HR departments.
Yes.
It's on the shape of a chatbot, but the HR person can ask anything to the chatbot.
Support for HR in chatbot.
To think together.
Yeah. Okay. I understand. I'm going to go to that one. You're the innovator? Yeah, right? And I'm actually for the innovator.
So the idea for this table is an application that does pre-background checks for companies who want to hire people. So they have candidates, and they can go to that application, ask about a background check for that person, what kind of information they have online, for example.
Online screening via an app.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
We've got an interesting case here.
Oh, you want to do that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So our scenario is in border security, passenger screening before they enter the country through airports or seaports to figure out if there are potentially interesting people there to have some further checks on. And we want to learn from the behavior of passenger information unit officers who actually select people themselves. But yeah, that's manual labor.
I hear a lot of screening in here. That's, okay.
Yeah, security screening.
So this is border security. Yeah.
Okay, and here there's two innovators here. Yeah.
No screening for us. We will came with an AI chatbot for the government. just to help civilians and in an interactive way and a learning way to give them enough information to how they have to pay their taxes or maybe even get some financial
Help
subsidy.
for civilians for taxes and rules. Okay.
But in an interactive way, so you should ask questions and we should react in an active way and base that on the information we have by ourselves.
Okay. Good luck explaining it. To the next one is the notified body. And you're
okay. Everybody continues in the group, right?
And we're going to ask again what the notified body is going to do. So the notified bodies. Those two. Well, you talk with your innovator. That's your notified body? That's a notified body? Those the only one? Oh no, only one notified body? Or two? You two? Okay. But you two should be in discussion right now, right?
We are trying to qualify whether we
Need. Okay, good. Hoe lang hebben we? Hoe lang? Nee. Who is the notified body here?
I believe these two.
These two? This is who is the notified body here?
Oh, there.
That's all, because otherwise those are very quiet for being notified bodies. It's already clear whether you need to do a notification and CE marking or not?
We're still discussing.
It's a difficult task, I'd say. Yeah. Oh, maybe forbidden. Okay. Give you 1 more minute.
Maar op zich is er
niemand.
fase inderdaad.
De laatste. We doen gewoon de rondjes af. Ik ga hem wel hier af. Ik ga hem wel nu hier beginnen.
Ja, net zo.
Ja.
En dan, maar daarna word je toch nog...
Why do I hear the notified body talking so much here?
Okay, we're doing the timeout again.
Timeout.
Just get the different views from the...
Maybe we should start on the other side, the ones that were so loud last time.
Yeah. Okay, notified bodies. What's your idea? Do you have a role? What role? What are you going to do?
Actually, we still don't have any idea, but we are figuring out whether it's forbidden AR or not.
And does the notified body care whether it is forbidden or not?
Good question.
Well, that's a good question. It's not a responsibility for the notified body. They're just a consulting firm in a way, and if they are willing to pay for your certification, then it's okay. That's not your role.
Yeah, are we just not going to certify them based on the outcome of the assessment?
Well, it depends. It all depends on the intended use, but it's quite difficult because intended use can switch quite quickly or quite easily. So it could be, especially in this case, whether or not it's forbidden or not. We still need some extra guidance from the European Commission to know of these, whether or not these cases will be allowed or not allowed. So it could be that he says, I think this is my intended use. Can you certify my product? And it could be that intended use shifts a bit and you can say, okay, I want to be certified for a bigger scope and see whether or not it's compliant. And then in the end, if certain uses are not are forbidden, then you still have some other high risk because it's probably on the industry.
We have experts in the room.
Okay, yes.
Experts? No, you can answer first. Because what would you do? Yeah, I'm not going to give it to you until the question. What would you do if you actually think that the product that wants to be certified is forbidden? So I don't want to take the microphone anymore. Yes, as notified for body, because you're the expert.
If the product is forbidden, we cannot, of course, certify it.
So you would say, sorry, we are not going to take on this product as a certification. Yeah.
Yes. And I have a question. Is an airport a public space?
Sorry, no, again?
An airport, is it a public space or a private space?
Well, there is a special authority for that, and that's currently not in the room. I wouldn't directly know.
But
And also, when I'm not certain, the questions are so important that I actually will say I'm not the expert on this. There are special authorities that know these answers, and that's why it is very important. So you could maybe even ask that one over email, and then we can get the correct person.
But for my information, do they
Yes.
actually make an assessment whether it's forbidden or not, or do they follow the assessment of the supplier? Because I think the supplier would make an assessment that it's not forbidden.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they would not ask certification.
Yeah.
So does the notified body actually make an analysis whether or not it's
They did,
forbidden?
of course, because when you receive a product, you will need to check what you're going to do. So it's probably in their initial checking they will do that.
Whether or not they can...
Whether it is something they can actually certify.
But quite often it could be that your product is, depending on the client, forbidden or not forbidden. So if it's a government security border agency, it's probably not forbidden. If it's a public security, so it could be that so it depends sometimes on the client. So the first role is that it's the client that decides whether or not they want to pay. And if you take on the role, then you're going to check, okay, do I think I can really do an assessment, yes or no? If it's no, they're not going to do it.
And don't worry, you're specialist in that. And notified bodies, like they know the laws very clearly in their
Better than they do.
Yeah.
So, you know.
You will know.
They will know, sorry.
Yeah.
But I can also imagine that for some things where like the judge is literally still out, so
Yeah.
they won't know. And in the GDPR we had like when the risk is too high, you do like you
I think
consult
you're going into the role of the supervisor in the end.
Yeah, so but that's my question. Is it the role of the notified body or the client to actually ask the supervisor, this is like in the gray area?
You could contact, but you can also make the decision, this is unclear, let's do the analysis. They pay, but we give probably, like we think it's going to be not something, but you can also define, I don't want to touch this, I don't think this should be, I think we're just going to wait on that. But it's a very tricky one. How
Under
often does
the
this
AI
happen?
board, there's a special subgroup for notified bodies.
Does
so
it
they
ever
discuss
happen?
among each other as well. So there's a governance structure for these kind of topics. Sorry.
We keep it in the group, Huub.
Yeah.
How often does it happen, actually, that you are being asked to do conformity on something which is forbidden? Yeah, a medical device, right?
There are processes in place for us to be able to consult the competent authorities and competent authorities to discuss at the European level, agree on something, give us the feedback, and we forward to the client.
There's a whole system for it.
Yeah.
It's pretty slow, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Super. We only did the one, but I'm definitely going to go to the next one. Where is the there? I think here, right? Did you come to a conclusion?
Of course, I think it is a high risk
Yeah, it's a high risk.
but I don't think I have the notified body as to judge something on this level.
You don't think the notified body need to do the assessment on this?
I think there was a disagreement.
There was a disagreement.
Yes.
I think the notifying body has to do an assessment of high risk.
Where it's high risk? Where does the problem come from? From you? Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe the microphone, then the rest can hear it. So.
No. Yeah, it's your fault.
So I think there are other problems with the product, but I don't think it needs to be assessed by a notified body.
Can you keep a bit closer?
I think the problem with the products are around GDPR, which may be for the supervisors, but not necessarily around the EU.
You think it would be forbidden according to GDPR?
Yeah.
But then you can still do assessment according to the AI Act?
Potentially, yes.
And does it need an assessment according to AI Act? That's the question.
I don't think so.
Because
it's employment.
GDPR is not product regulation. GDPR does not give you a CE marking.
So I think this is high risk,
yeah,
but it doesn't need assessment. It doesn't need assessment for a notified body.
Maybe a little closer. Okay.
I think it's high risk.
You think high risk?
It's employment, but I don't think it.
But you're not a notified body, right? You're the supervisor. It's high risk. Sorry. What is a high risk then?
If it is a high risk, then it's the risk that is not allowed.
There could be. You can have not, but you can also be the not high risk, which is just allowed. Most things are just allowed.
Yeah.
Like 90% is just allowed, or even more. Okay, but there was discussion. And
shall we do the last round? And
I think because we're going to have some, like it's going a little bit slow, or you really, the notified body really wants to talk. I think you do want to talk, right? Just the last comment on this.
Well, I think they were saying that it would go straight to the AI office. So if it's existing...
Hey, thank you. No, they said they would leave early, so it's... yeah?
No, it was an existing HR application that has then like a general purpose chatbot. I think they were saying that it goes to the AI office, right? Maybe.
So they were talking about a general purpose AI system, and we say that GPAI don't go through notified bodies, they go through AI office, unless this GPAI is repurposed in a high-risk use case setting. Then depends on which high-risk use case, then they would go to the notified body, but only in cases of biometrics. Otherwise, the other rest of use cases, it's self-assessment.
Yeah, so for everybody, when it comes to general purpose AI models are under the supervision of the European Commission.
Very new, because product legislation is about products. And the model is not a product yet, and it's still regulated.
But since it's mainly done by the big tech, they started now with the AI Act to have a kind of supervision on a European level as well. Because they had the experience of the GDPR when it was mainly done by Ireland, and you want a level playing field, and it was very difficult to get, with all the different competent authorities, to get a level playing field. So they said, when it's about the big tech, we're going to do that on a European level. So the models are being supervised by...
You're not clear, because I see questions on this face.
But as soon as it's going to be used within the product, in a high-risk product, then the supervisors will be on a national level.
Yes.
And that's not...
That's what I was asking. If there are HR systems that are already in use, and then the innovator is inside in the company that sells the HR product, and then they add in general purpose AI models in there, it's very hard to write the intended purpose. It's very much like...
Well, you have to.
And they claim it's not high risk, right? They're not even saying that it's high risk. So internally, as the buying customer, we have to wonder, is that high risk or not?
If the one putting the product in use and uses it for a high risk situation, then you have a little bit interesting. Or the supplier said you're not allowed to use it like this. We never meant to use like that, and then it's your responsibility, or you're not even supposed to do this. Or you have to go to that supplier and say, like, I'm using it for high risk, and then you get all these extra rules also on the supplier of the product. That's how it works.
So the idea is that if you want to use, for example, for the verbal interaction with your product to use ChatGPT, for example, the idea is that the European Commission checks whether or not the model is safe, so they have a limited amount, and then the way you're going to use it, you can trust the AI models that are being approved by the European Commission. You can build on, but on the whole product you're giving, you need to.
They don't need to become all experts.
Okay.
In the law.
Yeah.
They need
No,
to
at least I
understand
think
the
people
rules.
get some info.
But we have the last role. Otherwise, the supervisor is doing nothing. So there is still a supervisor, hopefully, on your table. There it's maybe a little bit difficult whether there's still a supervisor. The supervisor left, maybe. I think there's still one left. But please discuss what the supervisor thinks of this whole process that just happened.
Yeah, so the last 3 minutes about the role of the supervisor.
Maybe you just want to join that group there, and then you can just, if you want. You can be supervisors.
Is there still a supervisor here? Okay, so you can discuss with each other what you're going to think about it. Okay.
There goes the innovation. Yeah. Thanks. Dat is alleen het rollenspel. Alleen het... You clear? It's clear? Yeah. Supervisor's role? Nou ja, de discussie is nog bezig. De discussie werkt. Zo gaat het. Ik denk dat ze allemaal nu beter begrijpen hoe die rollen in elkaar zitten. Ja.
Have to consider that you make some applications.
My question from earlier. So, if there's no role for notified body and it's not covered by the EU app, but it breaks GDPR, are you the same, or would we be the same supervisor to deal with data protection, or is that someone else? So, would we there's products in the market?
Hey, they fixed it.
I think it's breaking GDPR.
They fixed it.
Do we?
Yeah.
Notify another supervisor to deal with that? Or how does it work?
That's
the AI supervising body. We are the.
Yeah, but at this moment, in the different member states, they are implementing the supervision on the AI Act, and in some member states there's a role for the DPA, and in some countries there's not. Or it's mixed. Has something to do with security and about ethics and human rights. Most competent authorities have multiple legal frameworks they can use, and they can also use the AI Act.
Huub?
Yeah.
Huub? Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're closing
Okay,
the
it's time to
timeout.
finish up, to wrap it up.
I think I will start with this table because there are some people who are so happy that they're finally the supervisor.
Sorry, what is the question again?
Question is, you're the supervisor, so what did you do?
We do market surveillance. We look that nobody's dying because of this software, and we analyze the complaints or the incidents.
Oh, you complained? Oh.
That are happening, and we then assess the incident and eventually have the power to recall the software from the market.
Oh, you removed it from market even? You were unhappy with the notified body?
No, there was no notified body involvement
There was no notified
in this
body.
case.
Okay, so you hear now a few roles also from the competent authority. It's not just looking at the system as a whole, and it's not just about appointing notifying bodies. It's also, in case of incidents, acting, supervising, extracting things from the market or demanding an update or whatever. So there's a whole role, not only pre-market, but there's also post-market monitoring the market surveillance authorities are going to do.
Did you first talk with the supplier of the app?
Of course, we requested the information to get the technical file assessed, eventually the AI system tested.
But
We asked for data.
Did you just have a coffee with them before you remove it from the market?
No, but this is very good. What she says is, I'm just going to take it general. Yeah, you're for the jokes, I'm for the content. As a competent authority, you have the power to ask any information that you need in order to do your work. So we can just go to the company and say, we're going to take along everything that we need, or you're going to give us everything that we need in order to do our work.
Intellectual property is not a thing.
So it doesn't matter if you're Microsoft, you need to give everything that is necessary for us to do our work.
Microsoft just left, by the way. So.
At the same time, AI is going to be in everything. It's huge, so it's very difficult. So it's a very risk-based approach. But if it's really necessary, the powers are quite huge.
Yeah, but I do think why remove from the market is kind of a big thing. It is a big thing, right? It's a big distortion on the market. So very often what we often say is that if we're going to have to enforce a certain law, it might mean that we also didn't have a proper discussion with that producer yet. It's like we also might be, if you're not a malicious party and we're trying to remove you from the market, even though you're just trying to innovate, then maybe our communication might also not be perfect. So if you already removed in your first 5 minutes, removed the product from the market.
We have contacted them, we have alerted them, informed them, we have requested information, evidence of conformity, we have requested the data set, the model, the data it was trained of, after making sure that it is, unless there's, like...
Yeah. It does sound like a very... I think it's very funny. Can I finish? Because let me finish, because it does sound like a very a notified body way of doing things. Because I think for us it's more like, okay, what was actually your intention with the product? Maybe we can think along how we can solve it in making it actually fit in the law. So I think that's a very big distinction between the authority and the notified body.
I would say the big difference is that notified bodies, when they issue certificates, are already well aware of the product they're certifying, of the contact details and the first action from the notified body perspective in case of serious incidents would be suspending the certificate and investigate. So the certificate suspension would stop the provider to be able to to keep placing the software on the market. At that stage, we would start investigating. We are forced to contact the authority, of course. We don't have power on the market, but suspending the certificate, we can...
So you have also a certain power in that, right? Well, you have now double more. Thank you.
Yeah, just to give you some idea, suppose Tesla does an update on the software of all their products. And it would be under the high risk of the AI thing. And we say it's not compliant with the AI Act. And they either refuse to give us insight in all the information that we need, or they refuse to comply with things that we say that they need to.
Or they just don't want to come on a coffee for us.
Then we can't say all the Teslas are not allowed to drive anymore. So the impact for consumers, in the end, the worst case scenario, taking it off the market has a huge impact on consumers. So that's why taking it off the market is really the last resort. That's not what you want. You want to start a dialogue, and you can enforce, so there are different levels of enforcement that we can do before we really take something off the market, because the impact is huge.
You want to add something to that?
Apple is now not providing a specific product in Europe because of the discussion in Europe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but in this case, it's probably the one with the GDPR there's a lot of GDPR discussion, and it's not really the AI Act. We don't expect the same kind of issues with the AI, but you never know.
I just wanted to ask this for a last supervisory authority. I think this is you. No? Oh, your supervisory authority. Yeah. So could you give some insights?
Yeah. So I saw the notifying body overacting their
Overacting.
So the text chatbot could be self-assessed, but of course there are some critical points. So how often does it give a wrong answer using an LLM, so which is not the most secure type of AI that you could possibly use. So I would understand, is the error rate from your system worse or comparable to humans giving the same answers, because also humans are not flawless, and that's something that you can answer from your testing, and the notified body wanted to consult you on that and help you with that in case you cannot do it yourself, but it's not really necessary.
There's one very interesting thing that you said. You said if it's at an equal level as when a human would do it. So one of the things that you need to do if you're going to assess it, or as a supervisor if you're going to check it, when is it good enough? Is it compared to a human, it should be better or should it be worse? Whether it's on the quality of the outcome when it comes to discrimination or whatever. And that's where standards come in and certification schemes. So there's a whole world of certification and standardization in order to do what you implicitly did.
With that.
Yeah, to help you with that. And well, Europe is still busy with it, and hopefully on time, probably not yet on time, but we get those standards and certification schemes in order to do that in a uniform way.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we should end.
I think the energy is going down, right?
Yeah, so that we need to stop with some. I think most of them had the discussions, right? There was some good discussions in the room. So, what's some ending words?
So, well, first thing, what I hope is that you get some more feeling of how the AI Act works and which roles there are and what role that you have, and that you don't be afraid of it. I mean, most of the AI will probably not be under high risk or forbidden. So most of the AI is not limited by the AI Act. And second, what I implicitly did, and I'm just going. As a competent authority, we're just going to see, did you check which kind of products do you sell or services? Is there AI somewhere in the supply chain? Can also be from the people you're before you, what you buy, data or whatever. Then what's the intended use? And then you can see if it's forbidden, high risk, transparency, or nothing at all. And then you can see whether or not there are specific requirements you need to comply with, so you can do your risk analysis. If you start by doing these things, then you're already halfway through all the work, because nobody, I don't know if I should say that's a competent authority, but I don't expect anybody to be ready when the AI Act really enters into force for certain topics of the AI Act, because it will take 2 years before we have the standards and everybody needs to. But if you've got the basic things in place, you're able to quickly move into the last phase of really being compliant. So don't.
I don't think they need to they don't need to be expert on that yet either. I thought the point was going to be about the level playing field.
Oh yeah.
That the purpose of all of this is that you will not be competed out of the market by a malicious party, by a party who doesn't care about risks. That you can compete at the level of the content of the business and not on the level of how crappy can I make my product. That is the purpose of this.
Yeah, so the AI, they say it's just minimum requirements set on the market for AI systems. It's a kind of baseline to make sure people are not discriminated, not die, not hurt, or whatever. I mean, it's not rocket science that's being asked.
I like a sentence like die or whatever, but I think we should end like from this experience, like any questions still left in the room? Yeah.
So I'm doing quite some work in healthcare. Is this also hold? Does this hold also for the medical device regulation?
Yes, and in vitro as well.
But there's an interesting interplay, and that is also what a lot of healthcare products are now thinking about. How does that interplay actually fit?
So under the AI Act, there's now a special subgroup on the interplay between the medical and the in vitro device regulation and the AI Act. So they're trying to give some more clearance on the impact of those two.
You're still the authority for both?
No, it's the Inspectie Gezondheidszorg en Jeugd in the Netherlands. So in the Netherlands, we try to get the competent authorities in place that are already responsible for the different sectors. So the financial regulators for the financial sectors and the healthcare inspection for the healthcare products.
Yeah.
So that we keep it where it is. Because you always need to evaluate an AI system within the context that you're going to use it.
Next question.
See, going back to the previous question, right? So we discussed about a very likely scenario that the innovator is going to the certifying body or notifying body to go through the risk assessments and everything. But what happens if somebody is bringing a product across to the market, not going through any of this, bypassing these, right? So who is scanning the market and whose responsibility is it?
Competent authority.
Competent authorities.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a quick, easy one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, just to confirm my understanding, so you mentioned about the standards not being in place, so biometric identification will need conformity assessment.
Can you be a bit closer?
Biometric identification will need conformity assessment because of that, because the standards won't be in place. The question.
What is the question? I didn't hear the question properly.
So biometric identification.
Biometric identification, yeah.
Will require conformity assessment if there are no standards there.
Yet.
Yeah. No, but biometric is difficult. So it's either under EIDAS regulation. If it's under EIDAS, it's not under the AI Act. And if it's under the AI Act, some additional. Not everything has standards. And not everything will have, how do you call it? Yeah.
Specifications? Is that the word you're
So
looking for?
anyway, I'm not the expert on how it exactly works with standards. So you're not allowed or you're not obliged to follow up standards.
Yeah. The standards are there to help
it's
you.
always you have to show to the competent authority that you're compliant with the legislation, and you can say, this is how I did it, and I didn't use any standards. If there aren't any...
You can ignore the standards if you want to, as long as you... Very often what I hear from most of the inspectors, what they will ask, somehow the question underneath all the question will be, how are you in control over that product?
But for the detailed questions, you should email them, and I'll give them to the ones that really know all the details. Yeah.
So I make consumer protection in AI to help people defend their rights where some kind of robots take their money or something like that. And we have a problem like classification and discrimination with some persons, but in general it's hard to find real procedures or media support to sue those who misuse AI. And what you can say, what media support or some grants in Europe could be, because it had to take some attention for law enforcement, for example, because this kind of cases is very complex for them and they don't want to work with them. But
what is the case you're talking about? The case is?
I have two kind of cases. One case is, okay, it's in poker where bots play against players and won from them. But second, for example, in financial institutes, when low liquidity trading in crypto or some kind of that spheres where automatic bots evade abnormal filters or some kind of financial systems like Binance.
Automation by AI in financial systems?
Yeah, and they by automatic system with evading of abnormal filters evade their money. like chim dumping in poker or like...
Okay, but you're talking about highly regulated markets because your financial markets are highly regulated.
Yeah.
And this is not our specialty.
Yeah.
So I cannot answer this.
And, okay, and in your specialty, what kind of procedures for consumers to defend their rights?
Well, first of all, the customer doesn't. I think I have an answer.
And the advantage that AI have against.
I think I can. Let me see whether I can, because it's difficult a little bit to understand. But you the best situation would be that you do not, as a consumer, need to act. Like we are responsible when you go to the gas station and you fill up your tank. The consumer does not need to check whether that 1 liter that it got out of the gas station is actually 1 liter. You respect and you understand that this just is 1 liter. We are responsible actually for that, by the way. That 1 liter is 1 liter. We are also methodology to check these kind of things. And you want the same in these systems as well. And you want to be able, the consumer shouldn't need an action. We can directly go to the market and say, okay, this product is wrong. And if the consumers really have a problem, they often go to the press, or they have certain entry points in the government where they can file complaints, and then we will take those and go into the market and remove those products. Is this in any way answering your question?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah?
We ran a bit out of time, but...
Yeah, maybe a last question if there's anything? Nah.
Okay.
Maybe we can talk afterwards to clarify it more clearly. If it's yeah? Then we're going to thank them, right?
Thank you very much for all your energy and enthusiasm. Thank you very much.
Yes. Okay, thanks.